Alright folks, Phil Gallagher here, back with the red tokens deck. We're going into round 4 of this league. Yes, sounds awkward. There are a lot of things that can go wrong, but I usually don't look the turn 1 Chalice hands in the eye and say, no, I'm not gonna keep you. I know what I'm about. We're not gonna just like play a Chalice out on 0 given no matchup information. Especially since Chrome Mox is potentially one of our best draws right now. And now we wait. Alright, so we're playing against some sort of Maverick-style deck in all likelihood. Probably don't need to play a Chalice on 0 then. Our Chalice on 1 is also probably pretty medium. Three, six, seven, eight. So I can play a 2-drop. I can go double Spirit Guide to play Idol of Oblivion, but that does not seem great. I think we're going to be discarding a Seasoned Pyromancer here for potential value later on. Alright, opponent is also stuck. Oh, opponent is on Loam. So playing out a Chalice on 0 is actually very, very, very good. So the question now becomes, how do I want to play this turn? I can Season Pyromancer and just try to loot into some lands, which is probably pretty strong. Or I can just play War Boss out as a respectable clock. I think if I'm playing Magic while my opponent isn't, that's pretty strong. So let's discard our second Chalice and our Idol of Oblivion. We'll draw into some more lands. Now we'll play a Chalice out on 0. And we have a much better shot of actually like being and staying in this game now. It's 5 to get this back right. Yes. One, two, three, four, 5. Can't Embercleave this turn. With another land, I can. Alright. Opponent has drawn cards. They can potentially get themselves back into this game. Their life total's still pretty high. That's a Bob that's probably not blocking. So now I'm the one who is stuck on mana. That's what I didn't want to see, because that represents removal now. That represents removal for things like Punishing Fire. And I expect that my opponent has another Punishing Fire since they were so willing to discard one on, what was that, turn 2? We could also just, like, face down a giant Knight of the Reliquary here, and that's a whole nother problem. My Embercleave. That's okay. That I don't mind so much. So, am I willing to throw away an elemental to push one more point of damage? I think so. So I'm going to play the thing that continues to pump bodies into the board so that Gaddock as a chump blocker means less. Note, the Bob that we're seeing here is much scarier for the opponent than the Bobs in Turbo Depths because the average converted mana cost of this deck is much higher. Yeah, as we see. An opponent doesn't know this, but this Teague isn't actually stopping that many cards in my deck since I have so many small aggressive creatures. I don't know how I feel about doing that right there. That seems like it could have waited. So after this turn, their Bob is unlikely to deal more damage to them. They might be willing to just trade the Bob off for another body this turn. I am probably just going to Blood Moon them. They can theoretically answer that with Blast Zone, but I kind of expect to kill them by that point. I think the Blood Moon is valuable enough to just do that. So I'm just going to attack with the Seasoned Pyromancer this turn. I am happy with all three possible outcomes here. My opponent taking the damage, my opponent trading their Bob, or my opponent blocking with Teague. I'm happy with all of those scenarios. The Blood Moon is a harder lock than normal against my opponent because they can't just go into Mox Diamond due to my Chalice on 1. And now, over the course of 2 to 3 turns, I can probably just overwhelm the one blocker that my opponent has. I also have double Seasoned Pyromancer in the hole for in case this game drags on for some reason. That will also... Oh, no. That's not going to work the way that I want. Which way do I want to do this? This way plays into Punishing Fire a little bit. Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way and not actually attack this turn. Okay, good stuff. All right. How are we going to approach this matchup? I think I am the aggressor here. I think my plan is to kill them as quickly as possible before they can stabilize the board and take over the game. So I think I want a little bit more disruption and a little bit more removal. What don't I want? The Chalice is actually pretty bad on the draw, because they get a chance to put their Chrome Mox down first. So I think on the draw, I'm not going to play my Chalices, but when I'm on the play, I will play Chalice, because Chalice plus a Moon Effect is just so good. I don't think I want to Leyline for, like, Punishing Firelock. I think we're hoping to kill them quickly enough that that doesn't necessarily matter. Okay, so we go Land, Chrome Mox, Imprint, Spirit Guide, Chrome Mox, Imprint, probably Seasoned Pyromancer. We're going to be keeping this hand. But what we draw turn 1 is probably going to be pretty important. We're just probably looking to curve a Goblin into another Goblin. Yeah, this is the problem about playing Chalice when you're on the draw. Keeping a hand like this also allows me to just, like, rip a Moon Effect and go to town. Alright. So Chrome Mox. Let's imprint a Spirit Guide. Then we'll Chrome Mox. They kind of want to play something that isn't exposed to Punishing Fire, since that's one of the most likely things my opponent could be holding up right now. So I think I'm actually going to imprint War Boss and play Hannah War Garrison. The goal with how I'm set up here is to use Seasoned Pyromancer to actually draw 2 cards. I could just loot through these, but I think I'm just going to start trying to go wide of my opponent. Like, we're just gonna put a whole bunch of stuff out there. Put out the token producer, make it so that they can't really afford to tap the knight on their turn. They have to hold it up for our turn. And then we'll hope to do something with these Seasoned Pyromancers. I'm just hoping my opponent doesn't play something like a Planeswalker this turn that they can generate value out of while hiding behind this knight. So that'll be a Teague. That's fine. That's actually pretty good. We now represent drawing an additional card every turn, given board. This game also could go long enough that I actually might use the 8 mana ability on this thing. Embercleave is almost what I want. Almost. Also, friend, I'm not sure that you can afford to knight away that forest. I'm just throwing that out there. That seems very important as this game goes long. And it looks like it is going to go long. Like, if you fetch, you basically are priced into fetching a swamp, so you have another basic, unless you're just going to, like, reactivate the knight the next turn to get rid of that. Okay, that can represent Punishing Fire lock now with Knight of the Reliquary. So I don't love that. So what are you going to name with that? Okay, you're just going to shut off what's currently on board. That's fine. Okay. This is a sick draw. If we can take the Teague off the table, this will actually be very, very good a little bit later. I am going to discard the Seasoned Pyromancer, and then I have to discard one of these two things. I'm not sure which is better. I think the Angrath probably is. Okay. Blood Sun is fine. But, like, we're a little redundant here in terms of this stuff now. At least we're insulated from Plague Engineer by having a whole bunch of different creature types. So this is probably going to get a Grove of the Burnt Willows. I don't know that I love my opponent doing that on their turn with all that timing. Okay, Blood Moon versus Blood Sun here. There's probably not a ton of difference, if I'm being completely honest. Oh no, that's not true, because this is still a man ability, so I can still return Punishing Fire. Yeah, so we'll Moon. This game has gotten very strange. I feel like my opponent has the advantage. We'll see how much they're able to press it though, because I can buy so much time. Opponent is considering attacking with more creatures here. I will gladly gain 9 life. I probably would have attacked with the Plague Engineer as well if I were them. So I think I'm going to junk my Blood Moon. I do, even though this is a dead card right now, I really do want to keep this around in case we can get the Teague off the table. It's the way that we attack through their board and steal this game. Oh, I already played a land. Okay. So the other thing I can consider doing is just like consider taking 9 damage. At some point. Should just go and try to actually trade with the knight. This is a problem. I don't really care about the sacrificing side, but that thing ultimating is a problem. So if I don't block here, I can take 9, go to 10, attack Lily with everything, kill Lily, including a Legion War Boss token, then block Knight of the Reliquary on the backswing with Legion War Boss, and try to stabilize the board. I think I am just going to lose to this card ultimating basically immediately if it does so. So I think I'm going to take the damage here. Which is kind of crazy. But I think that's the situation that I'm in. So that'll junk the Lily. All right. Sorry, friend, but I think you've got to go. All right. Idol of Oblivion definitely doing work in this matchup. Let's draw a card. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can just make a 10/10 when they attack with a knight the next time around. That's mighty interesting, actually. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can just make a 10/10. I think I would be fine trading Legion War Boss for either of these creatures. Man, what a crazy game. Idol of Oblivion really doing work in these slow mid-rangey matches. It hadn't done a lot previously, but this match it really showed off its stuff. This card is definitely real. It requires setup, but it's super, super powerful. All right, be back again soon.